Well, ladies and gentlemen, I believe I have Penny Nance on the line with us right now in the final say. Penny, are you there?
I am. Hey guys, how are y'all?
On the fly intro, but we're actually call screening live.
No problem. Good to be on.
Things we have to do when we're doing live shows like this, and doing the best we can.
I get it.
Penny, I want to thank you for joining us today. As you know, Penny is the president of Concerned Women for America. And now your organization, I believe, has over 500,000 members?
That's right. We have 500,000 members. We have 500 chapters around the country, and we're actually the nation's largest public policy women's organization.
Outstanding. So we're so happy that you've joined us here at the Defending the American Dream Summit. It's great that so many people like yourself come out. And but I have to ask you, now you guys are Concerned Women for America. I have to ask this. Mainly folks focused on women's issues, or are you simply a very large group of Americans, women, who are fighting the same issues that we are always fighting for?
Well, the answer to that is, what are women's issues? I'll answer you with a question. I mean, I would argue that women's issues are the same issues as men's issues, by and large. People tend to think only in terms of the life issue, and we are pro-life. We're social conservatives. We care about our schools and local control of education. We do issues like the issues of sex trafficking and other, difficult issues like that. But we also care about the national debt and, the economic future of our children. And it's all linked. I mean, the fact that we're spending, $1 million a day to fund the left, Planned Parenthood, and other leftist organizations, it makes no sense. We have no extra money to spend, and we've got to be grown-ups in Washington and figure out how to rein in this debt and how to live within our means as a nation, just like families do around the kitchen table every day and every month. So I would answer you in that we care about the economic issues and we care about the social issues.
This is John Rappaport. Very, very well said.
Thank you.
It affects my wife and myself. Most of these issues that you mentioned are what we might often refer to as kitchen table politics or policies. They affect both of us.
Right.
So I have a question for you. When we last saw you, which was back in D.C. here, what seems like just a few weeks ago at the Faith and Freedom Conference, well, since then, we were in D.C., and the Final Ray radio show saw SCOTUS make their decision that upheld Obamacare. The question I have for you is, from a perspective of women concerned citizens, what are the issues that most concern you with that piece of legislation?
Concerned Women for America worked diligently to try to stop the government's mad power grab for a sixth of our economy. And the very things that we feared would happen have happened. We have, about a $2,400 per person increase in our health premiums. The government is forcing many Americans to violate their rights of conscience on the issue of having to pay for services they don't want, like, for instance, for my Catholic friends not wanting to pay for birth control, or for us evangelicals that don't want to pay for abortion-inducing drugs. We have seen employers dropping health insurance by the droves. I mean, the very things that the president promised us wouldn't happen, and we knew that at the time it wasn't true, have proven to be just what we expected. But we all know that even though the Supreme Court made a decision, they don't have the final say in this. And the final say will happen after the next election, and when Congress returns, and we take another run at repealing and replacing this bad law.
Absolutely. What other major issues are you concerning yourselves with in the organization? Clearly we have another major election cycle upon us. Many would say one of the most important elections that we've faced in decades.
That is our position. I mean, I can give you a whole litany of issues that we're working on right now, and I would invite people to come to concernedwomen.org and take a look. But let me just tell you that right now, Concerned Women for America has kicked off a major voter registration, voter ID drive. We will be, in fact, I start on Monday. I kick off in North Carolina on Monday. We'll be all over the state of North Carolina in our SheVotes 2012 bus. You may see us running down the road in a big red high heel on the side of our bus. And it is an opportunity. So first we're going to North Carolina, Virginia, and then the following week we'll be in Montana and North Dakota, and then some other places perhaps. But the point of this is there's about 60 million evangelical and Catholic women out there, and at least half of them are not registered to vote, and at least another half of them won't show up on Election Day. And in order for us to let our conservative women allow for conservative women's voices to be heard, we've got to get registered, and we've got to motivate people to actually turn out come Election Day. So it is really important, and it's something that our top priority right now is to encourage and to activate and mobilize conservative women all over this country and to turn them out in the next election.
That's such an important point. We have seen in the last couple of decades, women have just made such progress in the world of education, in business, in governance. One thing that sounds like you're really focused on is making sure that women are absolutely participating to the maximum of their ability in the election cycle, not only to vote but to hold accountable those who we've already elected to make sure that they serve the interests of their citizens.
Well, and that's right. Women are getting advanced degrees at a higher number than men these days. We're getting more college degrees. So, we've come a long way, as they say, but we're not voting like we should. And let me back up and say, women are the largest voting bloc overall because we outnumber men. However, I think that we have been disproportionately represented by more liberal women. And so we've got to make sure that doesn't happen again. And what I say to our members and to women that I meet in conservative circles and in churches is, if you don't speak up, someone else will speak for you, and you won't like what they have to say. And often the media talks about women as if we're monolithic. We're not monolithic. We come from all different points of view, all different perspectives, and we all need to have an opportunity to participate. And so we think it's essential at this point in our history, in order to preserve this nation, in order to preserve the great country that we've experienced for the next generation, we've got to right the ship. And it's about to capsize if we don't do something soon.
I agree. A 16-and-a-half-year-old daughter, and I sure hope that she enjoys a much better world than I did, and it's trending in the wrong direction.
Amen.
You served as a special advisor to the FCC on
That's right.
Media issues. And a particular area that I find is so important and often overlooked in mainstream media, which is protecting our children.
Mm-hmm.
That you were focused on and protecting on both childhood obesity and the wealth of indecency that's being thrown at our children from all kinds of media, including broadcast. So I ask you, the efforts that you were involved in there, what can you tell our listeners about the efforts that were underway, and what kind of results might we expect? And maybe most importantly, how can they help?
That is an interesting question, because if you remember correctly, several weeks ago, the Supreme Court struck down a ruling that that I had participated in, a decision that the FCC had done, which was had to do with a couple of different cases, a couple of different fines. One was indecency, as in nudity, per Janet Jackson, and the other was extremely profane profanity over the broadcast. Now, again, the FCC, just to remind people, the FCC makes the law makes a difference between cable, which you pay for and invite into your home, and over-the-air broadcast because it uses spectrum that we all own. The airwaves are considered for law purposes sort of like a public park. It's our publicly owned airwaves. The broadcasters are able to use it, and they're licensed to use it. They get those licenses for free, but we actually own it, and they get to use it. In some countries, they actually sell it, but we don't. And because it's our airwaves, there's certain rules of etiquette, and it's actually written pretty loosely. It's not. It's actually the way that it's been interpreted is to apply only from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and it's really only extreme profanity and nudity at this point. They don't fine for anything much less than that. I mean, it really has to be over the top, and I could give you examples, but I won't. So recently, the court struck down something the Supreme Court did, the Supreme Court struck down something the FCC did and said that they didn't give enough information. They didn't, write the rules clearly enough, and kind of sent it back to the FCC. So now the FCC is at a point, after doing absolutely nothing on this issue during the Obama administration, of being told to go back and relook at it. I frankly don't think they will. I think that they'll just let it all set until the next administration comes in. But when the next administration comes in, hopefully, God willing, it'll be a group of people that understand the importance of protecting children, and they'll take a look at it and bring in family groups and parents groups and really take a look at the rules and help to provide the broadcasters with good information so they can make good decisions and protect our kids. But let me just say that parents are always going to be the first line of defense. Don't ever expect the government to do your job. They won't do it, and they won't do it well. The broadcasters really don't care. I mean, I hate to be ugly about it, but they don't. They're selling a product. And you and I have to be, first and foremost, always attentive. Limit their television. Make sure that they're not in their rooms watching it. I mean, is the number of hours the average child watches television is shocking. Media numbers, according to Kaiser Family Foundation, somewhere including, iPhone and TV and computers, somewhere around 8 hours a day and 4 hours for television. We can't continue down that road. We've got to do a better job of policing our kids.
Absolutely right, Penny. Well, Penny Nance, the president of Concerned Women for America, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on the Final Say radio show.
Well, thank you. Can I send people to my website and tell them to join us on our bus tour?
Go ahead and give it.
Okay, it's concernedwomen.org. Just come on and click on the SheVotes 2012 section, and you'll find out where we are. Come join us.
You'll have to join us again sometime soon also. Well, thank you again.
I hope so. Thank you. God bless.